Hello there. I'm AI Bernie Sanders, and I'm here to teach you how to play Catan. In standard Catan, you develop a settlement network on an island made of hex tiles that produce resources. The objective is to be the first player to reach 10 victory points on your own turn. You score mainly by building. Each settlement is 1 point and each city is 2 points. You can also earn 2 points for longest road, 2 points for largest army, and some development cards are hidden 1 point victory points. The island has resource hexes, brick, lumber, wool, grain, ore, and 1 desert. Most resource hexes have a number token from 2 to 12. There are no 7s. Whenever that number is rolled, any player with a settlement touching that hex gains 1 of that resource from the bank, and any city gains 2. The desert produces nothing and starts with the robber. Along the coast are ports, harbors. Normally you can trade with the bank at 4 of 1 resource for 1 of any other. If you have a settlement or city on a port, you may trade at the port's rate. A generic port is 3 to 1, and a specific resource port is 2 to 1 for that resource. Ports matter because they turn surplus into flexibility when other players refuse trades. Setup uses a snake draft. Each player places 2 settlements and 2 roads. First, everyone places 1 settlement plus road in turn order. Then everyone places a second settlement plus road in reverse order. The distance rule applies. Settlements and cities must be at least 2 edges apart, so no one may build on an intersection adjacent to an existing settlement or city. After you place your second settlement in setup, you immediately collect starting resources from the 3 hexes it touches, 1 card per producing hex. That's why your second settlement is often more important than your first. It determines your opening hand and your early tempo. During setup, each road you place must connect to the settlement you just placed. On your turn, first, roll the 2 dice. If the roll is not a 7, every hex with that number produces, and all adjacent settlements and cities collect resources. Then you take actions in any order. Trade with players, trade with the bank and ports, build roads, settlements, cities, buy development cards, and usually play 1 development card. You may build as many things as you can afford. You then end your turn. But a roll of 7 is different. No one produces resources whatsoever. Any player holding more than 7 resource cards must discard half their hand, rounded down. Then the active player moves the robber to any hex. That hex is blocked and produces nothing while the robber remains. Finally, the active player steals 1 random resource card from a player who has a settlement or city adjacent to the robber's new hex, if anyone does. Build costs are fixed. A road costs 1 brick and 1 lumber and must connect to your existing road network, settlement, or city. A settlement costs 1 brick, 1 lumber, 1 wool, and 1 grain, and must be placed on an open intersection connected to your road while respecting the distance rule. A city costs 3 ore and 2 grain and upgrades 1 of your settlements. A development card costs 1 wool, 1 grain, and 1 ore, and is drawn randomly. Most development cards are knights or progress cards, and a few are victory point cards. You cannot play a development card on the same turn you bought it, but you may reveal victory point cards whenever you need them to claim a win. Outside of victory points, you generally play at most 1 development card per turn. Knights matter because they move the robber with a steal without needing a 7. Once you have played at least 3 knights and more knights than anyone else, you take largest army for 2 points. You can lose it later if someone surpasses your played night total. Longest road is 2 points for the longest continuous chain of your roads of length 5 or more. An opponent's settlement or city on an intersection breaks your road through that point. Your own pieces do not. To play well, start by valuing both coverage and probability. Some numbers trigger more often on 2 dice. 6 and 8 are best, then 5 and 9, then 4 and 10, then 3 and 11, with 2 and 12 the least frequent. In setup, try to place settlements that collectively touch strong numbers while giving you access to at least 3 resources, ideally 4. Early momentum usually comes from building 1 or 2 additional settlements quickly. That requires brick and lumber for roads, plus the full settlement mix, which is brick, lumber, wool, and grain. If you begin without a key resource, decide immediately how you will compensate. Frequent trading, a targeted port, or a plan that leans into what you do produce. For example, city and development focus if you have ore and grain. Think in build packages so you always know what your next missing cards are. If you're 1 card away from a settlement, trading for that card is high value because it converts directly into a point and future production. If you're far from any build, trading at bad rates can be wasteful. Sometimes it's better to wait a roll, buy a development card, or pivot to a different goal that matches your hand. Board position is as important as resource math. Roads should have purpose, reaching a high-value intersection, contesting a choke point, or setting up longest road pressure. Because settlements must be spaced out, a single, well-placed settlement can block an opponent's route to an entire region. Before you commit to roads, check whether an opponent can cut you off with a settlement at the key junction. Robber management is a skill and a social game. Blocking a leader's city on a high-frequency hex usually has more impact than blocking a weak settlement on a low number. Steals are random, but you can choose whom to steal from, so target players whose production suggests they are likely holding what you need. Also manage your own risk. If you're above 7 cards, try to build or trade down before the dice return to you. Trading well means controlling tempo without creating a runaway rival. Avoid giving a player the final resource to build a key city or claim longest road unless you are getting something comparably strong. Make offers specific and immediate. For example, hey, I'll give you 1 brick for 1 grain, instead of vague requests, because clarity increases the chance of a deal. If the table stops trading with you, ports and development cards become disproportionately valuable. Ports are strongest when they match a resource you can produce in volume. A 2-to-1 ore port is amazing if you reliably make ore. It's mediocre if you don't. A 3-to-1 port is broadly useful, but still needs surplus to matter. Don't build a long, slow road chain to a weak port intersection unless it also helps you expand or block. Otherwise, you're spending tempo for a future discount you may never exploit. Development cards can win games when timed. Knights provide robber control and often decide largest army. Road building can secure an expansion spot or swing the longest road unexpectedly. Year of Plenty can complete a settlement or city package immediately, especially early. Monopoly is strongest when you name a scarce resource and immediately convert the haul into points the same turn, reducing the window for retaliation or a forced discard. Endgames are about threat assessment and denial. Watch how opponents can reach 10 points. A final settlement, a city upgrade, longest road, largest army, or a hidden victory point reveal. Defend by blocking the relevant production with the robber, refusing the enabling trade, or placing a settlement that breaks a key road line. Offensively, try to assemble a one-turn finish so opponents don't get a full round to coordinate against you. A consistent habit is to convert resources into irreversible advantages. A settlement spot you claim cannot be taken away, a city permanently increases production, and a development card can represent surprise points and tactical leverage. Hoarding invites 7 losses and signals that you're about to do something big. If you keep your roads purposeful, your hand size controlled, and your builds aligned with your production profile, you'll win far more often. With all that being said, play Catan and have fun. Thank you for your time, and have a good day.